Just out here enjoying my Monday, relaxing, and look who pulled up.
Hey guys!
All right. There you go. We're gonna get some rounds in. I definitely need it. He's still feeling like he wants to get some work in after last weekend.
Oh yeah.
All the way over.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
This one has a wider field of view, so
Okay.
you probably don't have to pay as much attention to this one.
Okay.
Because it's gonna be good. That one though, it has such a skinny window because we're live streaming.
Got it.
So, my goal is to just make contact, but I'd like you to, if you see me open, I'd like you to show me that I'm open. You know, really make me feel it.
Okay.
Because I don't want to. You're making sure that I don't get taken down in the ring by teaching me where I'm.
Well,
where I'm open.
let's just do some boxing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get back into jiu-jitsu, and then I'll probably want to work with you more on that
I'd love
stuff.
that.
So, I want to give a shout out really quick to HKA USA.
HK USA.
These are the graffiti gloves, and it was a very well-timed sponsorship to where we just got our shipping container graffiti done. So shout out Jojo Mojo on Instagram.
Jojo Mojo.
I think it's Jojo Mojo 93 or 97. It's the one with all the graffiti.
Jojo Mojo 97.
But yeah, they provided us, HKA USA provided us with these gloves. I'm loving them. I mean, they look really good. I love the way they feel.
Yeah, they're feeling solid, and I love the design on them. Excited to get my next challenger that wants to, put these on with me.
So we're just gonna get some rounds in.
They were wondering if this is pre-recorded.
No, we're live.
No, they ask now because I've done some shady lives where they're not really live.
Smart.
But no, this is 100% live. The fights were last Saturday. Today is what, the 22nd?
Yep.
Yeah, today's the 22nd, I believe.
Yeah, 2024.
Yeah, and
July 22nd.
We're like 2-3 p.m. What? No,
way later than that. It's like
4 p.m.
yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
You know what always gets them too? I'll be out here doing stuff and it'll still be light out, and they're like, "That's fake because it's dark where I'm at." I'm like, "It's Washington." And, I mean, it's the West.
Yeah,
you know?
it's gonna get dark at 10 o'clock at night.
Right. Yeah. All right. You can count down with the time.
Okay. So for the other one, for this one.
Just count, look at it. And
Okay.
then just go 2 minutes after that.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, I love that flicker. Very nice. Very nice. Took me out of my game out of control. Nice. Straight through.
10 seconds. Time.
Hey, great.
50 cents at Applebee's. That's what someone says.
I better leave a bigger tip next time.
Pappas is a real wild card with how he boxes. I legit have no idea where he's going with his approach half the time.
It's a question mark. Keeps people guessing.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Nice shot. Nice. Street. Nice. Gotta pick up the heel. Nice. Great work, Firechicken.
They're trying to figure out your style, Pappas. "30 seconds.
Nice. Solid. Solid. What's time?
9 seconds. Time. Good shit, guys. White boy crazy. Kangaroo. Bro just left the office and came straight here.
Love it. Be ready at all times. Protect yourself at all times. If Vanderbilt did not get his ear back, it's because Mike Tyson broke the rules.
People do crazy things out of desperation. Who was that? Somebody headbutted, I think Floyd, and then they breaking it up, and Floyd knocked the dude out. Remember that? He was up in
I
the corner,
didn't see it.
and he headbutted Floyd.
I'll have to check that
The
out.
ref got in there, and Floyd, it's clearly intentional. And the ref's like talking to him. Floyd just went bink, knocked him out.
Wow.
It's legal.
Wow.
Okay.
And what do? You know, unless you protect yourself, the ref doesn't revive you, you know?
He took advantage of a rule, which is protect yourself at all times. But at the same time, the other guy did something dirty. He knew it. It was an eye for an eye.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just always be ready.
All
Always be
right.
ready.
2 minutes is up.
Let me know when.
3, 2, 1, go.
There you go. Creating a spatial bubble. Controlling the center ring, smart. Forcing me to come to you.
This is the third round.
solid.
30 seconds.
Very good. Solid.
Time. Time. Time.
Doing great.
I regret not working out. Anybody watching?
Yep, 547.
Jeez.
Woo!
What's up, guys? Don't get it twisted. This is my buddy right here. This is how we train.
Yeah, it is.
I missed that. Do it again.
How old are you?
28. You're what, 29, 30?
41.
Are you?
I don't believe that for a second.
41.
I knew, but I wouldn't believe it for a second.
You guys keep me busy.
I can tell.
Honestly, like,
Keeping in
you
shape.
guys coming out here and wanting to train without Streetbeefs, never, I don't know, I just wouldn't be in shape. I wouldn't have a community
That's changing for everyone.
for everybody in one way or another, you know? Pretty sure for the better for everybody.
Absolutely. Anyone who can come out can draw something from it. That's
Something.
a gem, and if they don't, that's on them. You know, that they have an opportunity to really connect with the best group of people that I've ever got to run across, because they're dedicated to coming out here, regardless of finance, often in hardships, often going through everything, and are willing to travel across the world, some of them, to fight here, to be part of a community here. And if you're not part, and if you've been thinking about it, I highly recommend signing up. In fact, I implore you to.
Yeah, for sure. Just what he said there. Like, we are a community that's open to anybody. We don't judge. We just ask you follow some guidelines and rules. They're not too much. It's mainly respect.
Respect.
Mainly respect. You know.
Respect each other. Respect the site. Respect the ring. Respect our leaders, and everything's good. You know.
Don't call me out when you get your butt hurt over something. You know. Like, I'm not trying to fight every single person that's watching online that out of the ring, dog. Out. Come on. I'm not trying to fight every single person that thinks they have an issue with me, when all I do is provide a community for people. And if somebody has to leave, it's because of something that they did. Now, granted, I make mistakes too, and I take that into consideration. I own up to my mistakes. But, you know,
I had some issues back in the day with Epic 10 when a sparring accident happened, and I got butthurt about it, and I made some posts saying I was coming for him training wise, like that he wouldn't accept a spar in the ring. Shout out to Epic 10 for handling it so maturely. And when it was going on, I brought beef to the yard that wasn't acceptable, and I regret it looking back, and I wish that I had handled it just.
You learned from it though, right?
100%.
Yeah, I've learned from stuff out here too. I mean, I started this whole thing 4 years ago, and I was completely fresh to dealing with people from all walks of life. You know, people outside of, or things outside of my comfort area. You know, people with differing opinions. Like, I really just had to take a look and be like, you know what? Everyone that comes here that's respectful, that's part of this, they're cool, and I don't care. You know what?
Yeah.
For the most part, what they're doing.
Yeah. As long as you show up with heart and care about each other, and
It just show the people
yeah.
in the group mutual respect,
Respect.
and contribute to the group in
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
It can be, you know,
Yeah.
sparring, it can be advice, it can be lots of different things. It doesn't have to be that you're getting in there every month and fighting. You don't necessarily even have to be out here every month.
No.
Just being part of our Facebook group and people that comment on our posts and stuff, like you're part of the community. Even you on YouTube that are watching, you guys are all part of the community. When you leave positive comments, that does a lot for the fighters. And I know I might seem a little sensitive and I rag on people for it, but you know, the negative comments that some of the people make, like those aren't doing anything good for anybody. I know it's not making you feel better for making them, but you know, when you leave, when somebody says something nice to you, you feel good about it. Well, when you say something nice to the fighters,
we really care about it. Honestly, it makes my day reading your guys' comments, and I read every one of them. You'll see a heart next to anything that's even close to either constructive or positive from me, and that's I go through, and if I see that I've been posted a video, I try and read every one of them, and I try and respond to as many unique comments as I can that I feel I have something to contribute to. But I really appreciate everyone who not just watches my videos, but everyone on this platform. And the more comments and the more likes that we get, and the more that we talk about each other's fights and share, the more that we're going to grow as a community. Each one of you guys are a sub-owner of this platform by how much you contribute and how much you put into it. And you're going to get back what you put into it.
just remember watching the videos, everybody, like, you know, everybody out here's at a different level. This is, you see some people that have never put gloves on before, and then you see some people that are very highly experienced that, you know, we really do try to match up as fair as we can. It's a fight though, and it's just, it doesn't always happen. Right?
No, you know.
So,
and at the end of the day, anyone can take down anyone. So you don't step in thinking, oh, this person has more experience than me or whatever. Just show up and give your best and know that you're in a safe place. That protect yourself at all times, but you're in a safe, caring community, and no one's out here trying to kill each other.
And you don't even have to take a fight if you're not okay with it. Nobody forces anybody to fight out here. 100% volunteer. So just remember that. Different levels. Respect people's different levels. Respect their journey. Encourage them. They'll go in, they'll get training, and then you can watch them on their martial arts journey. You might even see them in a professional ring someday. I know some people are probably laughing at that comment, but honestly, we've had a few people from the Scrapyard go pro already. So it's not out of the normal. We got 8 fighters going over to the UK that are normal Scrapyard fighters to do amateur fights out in November. So I mean, it's a real blurry line on like what's considered legitimate training, legitimate fights. This is the equivalent of, and if you've ever, if you're a fighter watching right now, you've done smoker shows. I know you have. I mean,
that's
really,
what this is.
You just, it's a better, in my opinion. I mean, we got nurses, we got food vendors. We don't charge, we don't pay or anything like that, but we offer exposure and experience. And then when they go out and they do amateur fights, they've already got some good training sessions underneath their belt.
They said Pappas looks like he lost weight.
He did.
Yeah, I'm on the journey toward a fighter's body. I still have a long way to go.
What are you right now?
196.
Same here.
Really?
I,
You did 196 too?
19% body fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. As of this morning.
Yeah. My wife says I'm full of shit, so. Yeah, so let's go. Let's do some more rounds.
Yeah,
and,
great.
And then, you know, afterwards we could even do like a little Q&A. We can have
Yeah.
I've never gotten him on Kicking It with Chicken. And,
Yeah, I'd love that.
Kicking it with chicken.
It's normally during a time that I'm working because I work closing. But if we can do an impromptu, I'd love to.
It'll be just more. Yeah, it'll be just more of like a live, you know.
Yeah.
But I will get you on Kicking It with Chicken.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
Even if I have to make some time with work, you know, be like, hey, I need an hour break.
I can make time with Kicking It with Chicken too. That's not a set day.
Great,
So,
great.
Scrap
Perfect.
talk is
Yeah.
almost over with, so we're gonna.
You let me know when you want me to come out, and anytime before really like 2 p.m.
Oh, it can be right over the phone too.
Yeah, over the phone. Yeah, anytime before 4 p.m. over the phone. Any day.
Okay. There's some love from New Zealand.
Woo!
Hey,
London around the world,
Yeah.
New Zealand, incredible.
Alrighty.
Maybe someday I'll get over there.
So, before we start this, could I ask what you observed from our first rounds?
I would say that avoid doing the same thing that's getting you caught in certain things. You notice, like, every time I do the same thing, I'm getting caught with it. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, really.
Be aware to change up the be flexible with the
Yeah,
positions that I'm recognizing.
You're doing fine. You really are.
Okay.
Okay.
For you, what I'm seeing is when you create a pocket space, when you see me start to lunge in, you have more of a response time, and it lets you really catch me. And I need to work on that because the viewers and the people, my fighters, are going to catch on to that.
It's a timing.
Yeah.
It's timing because remember what I told you? There's different spaces.
Yes.
Well, this is right here. This is like the safe space right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can close in on it, but for me to react and throw a punch when I see you cross into my space is quicker than you can get past that. It doesn't matter how fast you are. So I can react quick to that. But I mean, you can make it work. You do make it work. Just learn from it, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. You want to go live this round?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna try and get past my pacifist tendencies a little bit with this, if that's okay with you. Like, I want you to really swing on me, like, try and take me out. I'm right here, you know.
Okay. All right.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, fight.
Nice. Instant ringer. Solid. Sorry about your
You're good.
Very nice.
Twenty seconds.
What?
20 seconds. All right, time.
Good round.
Could you feel the difference in the swings? Trying to drop my body into it.
No.
No?
Oh,
Really? Good to know. Really
you know
good
what
to
that
know.
tells me? What is it? When you're going at more of a sparring pace,
Yeah,
you can be just as effective.
I agree. I tired myself out more during that round. And I committed too much.
The one thing I did see that was different is some of the shots were easier to hit because you were trying to go for a hard shot.
Yeah. But I wasn't getting...
I could see it coming easier.
Yeah.
I didn't change up too much what I did. Maybe threw a couple harder body shots, but I mean,
The intensity lasted for a second longer, but other than that, you're right. You're a lot of your strikes. That first one got me really solid in the air.
and remember
Right,
what we were
quick.
talking about when you charge?
Yeah.
It's I don't know if you ever played Mike Tyson's Punch Out as a kid, but
No.
there was a character called Bald Bull.
Both.
Yeah, he used to do this move where he would like lunge towards you, and you had to time it right. And if you hit him, he would get knocked out basically.
Yeah.
So I mean,
You're getting that.
it's a timing thing. It's
Yeah.
like, you have to hit the right spot when you see that target come at you. It's either fight or flight.
Yeah.
I can't take off and run.
No.
So
You gotta step to the side and catch me at the right moment.
yeah.
Right when I've had not enough time to respond because I've overcommitted. You hear that, challengers? You're getting direct tips from the pro as to how to kill the pap. Tap the pap.
Honestly,
Tap the pap.
Honestly, in my opinion, is timing beats a lot of stuff.
Timing beats everything.
Even if somebody's faster than me, if I can block in time, I mean, I can still find an opening once in a while. I just have to stop their punches and keep up with them as far as their angle changes go. So if I can make sure and always be in in a decent angle against my opponent. My footing's good. If my footing's good, I can counter if I have to, because I don't have to worry about, you know, weird, awkward punch. I can use my hips. I can pop a punch out there, and it's going to have a decent amount of pop to it.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Getting that pop super important. So much of speed and power comes from that explosive movement, the relaxation as you're powering through it to that moment of tension. Those were some really good rounds.
It's just knowing when to throw that punch. I mean, you know what works really good with sting openings is mitt work.
Mitt work, yeah.
Good mitt work, because what it does is it creates openings, and when your mitt holder puts a target out there for you, you have to react very quickly. It also teaches you combos, which if you do land a shot on a target, you can combo it up afterwards. So if you land that jab, you can come in with a hook or a cross, or you can jab, hook, uppercut. They all lead to different things. And like what we were talking about earlier, is boxing, martial arts in general, is about creating targets.
Yeah.
You know, if you punch me in the face in MMA, you know, and I put my guard up, you might go for my legs because they're open. Or yeah, you might go for a solid, you might go for a 1-2 leg kick, you know. So,
I'm not sure if you were feeling it, but my body, my last month has been visualizing and focusing on combining the Imanari roll with the Rolling Thunder. And I kept grabbing for the back of your leg, because that's my goal, is to grab the back of the leg and throw my foot into your head.
Yeah.
But I obviously not in boxing, but every time I duck, my instinct now is to reach for a single leg and then go for that roll or pulling through.
And when you narrow it down to boxing rules only, you lose sight of these other dangers.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it's good to know different martial arts. Because when you grabbed for my leg, it made me think, if you did manage to get a hold of my ankle or something, I'd probably turn and try to pull my foot out, and at the most roll with it and get my foot back. But I didn't think that you were close enough to get like a real solid single. But who knows?
Yeah. Well, my goal would have been basically to, as I'm coming through, over the top.
Yeah.
And having the chance to, if I didn't see a good opportunity there, going for the single.
Yeah.
But the only time that I'm choosing that is based on how your balance and momentum is.
And boxers and stuff, they really neglect the power of wrestling also. They don't realize that with no takedown defense, it's actually really easy to take a boxer down. And I think a lot of wrestlers overthink their opponent's ability for takedown defense, because they're so used to going up against other wrestlers that they think, hey, I'm MMA, this guy's a boxer, I'm a wrestler. They're almost like they don't want to shoot, like they're gun shy, because they think, well, my takedown's going to get stuck, because they're used to getting that happen. You know, they got to find that perfect opening in wrestling. But
you know, the joke about wrestlers, why they aren't MMA fighters, is they don't want to get hit.
Yeah, that might be it. Because I mean, if you fail at a takedown, you're in a punching position on the ground. So
yeah, and that's I would have thrown my Rolling Thunder sooner, but I wanted to test Humble One's ground game and standing game and striking game before I got myself in a compromised position where I'm on the ground and he's standing. Until I felt really confident in that last round where I was just throwing whatever I wanted to, because I respect your hits, Humble One, but I didn't see any of them being knockout capable for me at that point. So I started being willing to use more of my flying techniques and more of my you know, what I do.
And also, hey, if you're watching right now and you didn't see the video I put out today, I did release this video with Humble One. So without spoiling whatever happened in that video, I encourage you to go check it out. You know, it's the first one edited from our 4-year anniversary.
Woo! Happy birthday, Sasquatch! Welcome to the yard.
So, how long have you been with us now?
1 year and since April.
Okay, so like a year and 3 months.
Yeah.
You're better at math than me apparently. So yeah, about 16 months he's been with us. Tell us a little bit about your past, like how you found us and what you did before this.
Oh, so there's a man named Ari who works up at the YMCA in Port Angeles, and I'd met him through a mutual friend, but he had been through the yard before. He's an African American gentleman with an afro from a few years back. He came and
Was it an African?
I don't remember what Ari. If you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't remember what your name was, but I will. I'll be looking you up to show Steve if you happen to be on here. Send him a shout out.
I thought that was the African's first name, but I might be wrong.
There's a good chance that sounds like something that he.
But I thought he was more Tacoma area. But anyway, so he came out here and he fought before.
Yeah, he told me about you guys 7 days before the next event was in April, and I was like, oh great. So I practiced for 7 days, elbows to the face, and I come out here and I'm like, I'm looking for an MMA fight, and there no one was at my weight class wanting to take a match with me at the time, but I got a boxing match with Flex, and so excited for him to come back from the UK because he said they'd run it back with me maybe in some MMA because I would really love to get in on that and redo our round from back then. Yeah. I recognize I should not have spent like 15 minutes going against Shiloh out here right before that match and like an extra 10 before that with Viking. That was that was
for the cage.
Yeah, 100%. And I wish that I could have done you more of an honor with our match there, but I'm excited for you to take your win from the UK, bring it back, and run it back with me. So yeah, let's see. I have all the faith in the world in you, and I'd love to get some rounds in before that. So let's iron sharpen iron. And before all of that, I was I've been, so when I was 5, I got into Kyokushin karate. I was just going on 6. It was like the summer of, and I'm born in November. And then
tell everybody how old you are too.
I'm 28.
28.
That. So from 6 to 8, I was formally in Kyokushin karate, and then I continued with a few students that I got to go visit often once I'd moved. But once I'd moved, I got involved with wrestling when I was in 7th grade through 11th grade, and then I was in from 11th grade through end of my sophomore year of college, which I did running start. So I did all my freshman year through junior and senior year, and then I did part of my sophomore year. The year after that, I did Taekwondo through the White Crane, which has a 9th Dan black belt named Grandmaster Nichols. Shout out to the White Crane. He is the 2nd highest ranked Grandmaster in the WTF World Taekwondo Federation in North America, and he would break his fists and his knuckles with iron bars every day, microfracturing them to the point where he has mountains on his knuckles, and taught me most of what I know about combat. I feel like I learned a lot from wrestling, and I feel like I learned a lot from Kyokushin karate, but really when I got to go through the White Crane, not only did I get to learn from Grandmaster Nichols about Taekwondo, but we learned Kempo, we learned Tai Chi, we did breaking. We had another sensei in who taught Kajak Kembo, which was produced to protect the Allied forces in World War II against the Eastern arts. Through such, I got to pick up a lot of different Eastern styles, like quite a bit within Baguzang, and through each, I got to pick up that each one of them really says that the main thing is pick up the fundamentals, and each one has a different fundamental priority set that really build on each other. That, like with Wing Chun, it's not very useful by itself, but understanding control the center line, understanding move differently based on the terrain that you're on. If you're in an imbalanced position, you need to have a wider base, but you need to have still keep that center of gravity a little more. Like the stance is designed for being able to move on like rafts or boats or moving logs or positions that are very unstable and are very designed around just controlling the center box. And with Baguzang, it's all about circle walking and learning to be able to move in these sharp movements that are turn from these sharp movements to fluid that carry a lot of inertia. And from karate, you learn how to really generate hard circular power, where from Taekwondo, it's very relaxed and explosive. And from wrestling, you learn to move with your center of gravity lower and how to be able to work ground game. And each of these positions or each of these styles that I've gotten to go through, I've more stripped away the fluff of them that I feel is just tactics disguised or wrapped up around these prioritized.
Maybe around the sporting aspect of it, or
Yeah.
maybe around doing katas and that kind of stuff. You know, every martial art, you know, we'll take Bruce Lee, for instance, you know, he developed Jeet Kune Do because he wanted to take the fluff out of it and put together something effective. I feel like mixed martial arts is kind of that way too, but it's almost like your own build a program of martial arts. And the greatest thing is you know, you don't have to fight mixed martial arts, but the overall just principle behind it is taking these things that you pick out of all the different ones and bring them over to make yourself. Like me personally, I mean, I have like, if I were to pick four, I'd probably say boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and wrestling. I think if you know those four, like you're solid on everything. Like where's your weakness going to be? There's little things that can work against you, but you really have all the core values in there, I believe. I don't know, what would you pick for like four?
Oh, so my first, if we're talking, when I look at martial arts, I look at each martial art as a system of defense or way. So the first way that I would go with is Miyamoto Musashi's Book of Five Rings, the Go-Rin No-Show, which is a swordsman's book on how to be an effective swordsman during Edo era war and feudal era Japan. But the reason why I choose him is if you listen to his life and how many battles he went through. He went through 60 different battles against major named people who for each one he won using psychology. In his most famous battle, he went against a man who was named the Demon of the West, and he wielded this giant blade that was known to that he used a very specific tactic of striking with, and that this tactician fought the last war, as in he had developed this one strike that he really liked to use, and he believed he could beat almost anyone, and this was the way of the times at this point. When he came into the battle, he came in hours late, and he rode in on a boat, and this was supposed to be the biggest fight of the century, and he rode in on a boat, and the tide drifted him in, and he was carving up his oar into a sword, and he picks up a dirty rag and puts on his head as a headband, which was a sign of great disrespect. He gets out of the boat and he runs at the Demon of the West with the oar in his hand and no sword. And the swordsman does exactly what the swordsman knows how to do. And he did his fancy swing and slash of his giant sword and cuts straight through the oar and cuts the headband off with only an eighth of an inch into the headband, just enough to cut it off. And the oar falls and hits him on the head and knocks him out, dead. And in a battle before this, leading up to this, he fought a man who was the first major wielder of sickle and chain. and Ik Ken. And Ik Ken was known to whirl up his ball and chain to be really fast. And he'd run in at you, and he'd throw his ball and chain, and when you'd be distracted by the ball and chain, he'd come in and slit your throat. Well, Miyamoto had taken his one sword style and developed a two sword style for this specific battle, where he ran in, instead of waiting for his opponent to run at him, he ran back at his opponent. And when he started to run backwards and spin the ball and went to throw it, he got to block with his little sword, and he slid him down with his main sword. And what he did with every one of these opponents, with one of his first battles, he had won against this major school multiple times, and they were like, no, he needs to die. He's killed too many of our guys. This is it. And he's done it in ways where he had shown up late, or he had always done something to throw them off guard. And when this time, he knew it was going to be a trap. His friends told him, don't go. You can't go. It's going to be a trap. And he says, no, I'm going to go. And they say, don't go alone. Well, now certainly I have to go alone. So he goes alone, and he hides in a bush beforehand and waits for them. And this big group of people, like 10 guys, show up to kill him. And they get there early. And they get there and they set up camp. And as they're setting up, he jumps out of the bushes and draws his sword and says, I've waited long enough that it's time for us to fight. And as they're all scrambling up to grab their gear to fight, he cuts them down one at a time. And no matter what fight he was in, he always he never tried to fight the last war. He never said, this tactic is the best tactic. This tool is the best tool. He always tried to develop a strategy based on the moment, based on what was the way that was left. For every time you choose an advantage, you're choosing to take a disadvantage that comes with it. Okay. By choosing to play in ground game as a wrestler, I am taking away my limbs from being able to strike, and I'm on the ground. That as a striker, I am having to change my stance to best equip myself for striking, and that often leaves yourself open to takedowns. Each position, if I'm trading for more defense, like with the Philly, I'm trading some of my range and my time because my hands aren't as close to my target. Mm-hmm. What I'm gaining from it is defensive superiority, and that each of these advantages, it's a conversation happening in the middle of the ring of saying, I'm choosing a defensive position, and I'm gonna enter your bubble at a flank with my blade. Can your stance handle this system that I'm producing?
So basically what you take from this is the strategy involved with it is being able to plan something to outsmart your opponent and exploit, their kind of single track mind. Like, this is what you do to me. I have other tools I can use against you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's more important to be able to develop a system in the moment that's going to work against your opponent no matter what
that's important. You don't want to rely on one specific style. You want to be able to switch it up, because in the middle of a battle, you might lose the use of your arm. And it's like, well, I'm not used to fighting without one arm, so what do I do, I mean, if you do know how to get by without it because you've trained that before.
Exactly. Yeah. And in chess, so this brings me to my second system that I'd recommend, which is chess. Because in chess, it's once again two equal forces opposing each other in a confined set of conditions and boundaries, where one side has to where both sides are saying, I'm challenging for position of control and position of superiority, saying that there is a way that I can get to your most compromised positions of priority, no matter what you try to do to stop me.
This is the same as a fight, Pappas.
Yes.
It is, because when you're boxing or fighting, whatever, you can be aggressive. You can try different things to trick your opponent. You can be more defensive. But ultimately, your goal is to what? Take out the queen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to end the fight, no matter what, through a submission of their most valuable forces. And there's a saying in combat, in war, in chess, in business: take out the head and the snake will fall. You know, they strike at the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. That if you can remove the source of breath, so in martial arts we have this thing called chi, and it's very westernly bastardized, where it originally in Qigong it was developed to represent one thing, and that's the fluids. That means the breath, the blood, the adrenal response, cortisol, dopamine, all the things, the biochemistry that's flowing through, that's determining how you feel and whether or not you can even fight. If you lose too much blood, if you cannot breathe, you cannot fight, you're out of chi.
You know what? That's interesting that you say that, and I've never thought about it that way. But some of that you can control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of it you can't. I mean, obviously, I can't control how much blood is in my body all of a sudden, but I can control how I'm breathing.
Yeah.
My adrenaline.
You can control the rate of your
things.
blood loss.
So
if you
your
slow
heartbeat,
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So we were talking earlier about, you know, the more experience you have, the more training you have, the more fighting you do, the less reactive you are to that danger situation.
Yes.
The more you can just be calm and take care of it as it goes. And that I think that might be the more modern way of like just saying the same thing.
Absolutely. So the military has a thing called the OODA loop. I have, from more computer science, observe, assess, respond, meaning that with a chessboard, I could be looking at a mating net that, oh, if I make this move, it'll pin the king, but I don't see across the board that there's a rook waiting to take my queen when I move it to that position that would get the mate. Mm-hmm. If I see that there's a single leg that I can take, but he has an osagari that can tear my ACL, well, maybe it's not the smartest move to.
You're thinking steps ahead, yeah. Just like in a chess match. Now, to let the people watching know, when he first started coming out to Scrapyard, I noticed you don't bring it out as much anymore, but you used to bring your chessboard out all the time. And he would have chess matches over there.
I still want to do that more.
I think I have a chess match I could also bring out for the fights too. But I like that element. I like that kind of your opening up, like, hey, this is something I like to do, and there's other people out there that like to do it too, and you might get somebody to challenge you. I remember when I first met you, you played a lot online. I would see, hey, I did this in chess today, you know, and it was like a digital chess game. So
I still play all the time, and I don't post as much as I want to. I need to get more consistent with both posting our daily training and my chess and more about my life, because I do see a lot of people take interest, and I want to. It helps keep me accountable and make me want to push myself even harder than I already do. And the fans really do inspire me. Thank you all for watching and tuning in always. It really warms my heart. I get so much fan mail. It's incredible. And
shout out your socials while you're on here too.
Oh yeah, I'm Brandon Lee Pappas on Facebook. You'll see me in my red dress shirt.
And on Instagram, what's Instagram?
Oh, I believe that's
Brandon Lee Pappas.
Yeah,
95.
Brandon Lee Pappas on Instagram.
95.
Too. 95.
Yeah.
She knows.
So give him a follow. Let's build his social media up. I do try to tag and collaborate with him, you know, as much as I can. In fact, if anybody watching is part of Scrapyard, you know, if I readily know your Instagram, I will collaborate with you also. It's just I don't always remember some people that have stuck around for longer. It's easier for me to remember their names on IG. So
what we should do is add it to the roster sign up where you have an Instagram tag handle option.
It sounds like a really good option, but that actually
doesn't work.
It's harder because I kind of use the waivers for the editing process, and then after that they go all away. And
okay.
It's just gonna have to be like a fighter's just gonna be like, hey, I see you posted a reel with me today. Tag me in it. And
okay. I can go back.
Yeah, you didn't used to be able to do that.
Okay.
You can now.
Okay. Awesome.
You can actually tag like 5 people on your collaboration invite. And what a collaboration does is allows it's to show up on the other person's actual account.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I went from having like 1,000 views per reel to now all of mine have like 100,000 plus because of
because it's showing up on my wall that almost has 1 million.
Yeah.
But you know, they can look and they can see Brandon Lee Pappas on there, and yeah. So your name is that have anything to do with Brandon Lee?
So, for I know my mother's come out to fight before, but I have had almost no contact with my mother my entire life, and my father it a long story. He passed away due incidents with my mother, but it part of the reason why I haven't had much contact. But from what I understand, that there were two people. One was Brandon Lee, and then there was another Brandon Lee that was out on the peninsula that had a set of nunchucks that would basically be like a enforcer on the peninsula for people who didn't act right. Like he'd show up and be like, okay, let's handle this. And
Which peninsula?
Oh, the Olympic Peninsula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right out here. And but yeah, I more attribute it to the first that first Brandon Lee. It just I don't know my mother very well, and yeah.
It's very fitting anyway. I mean, you seem
you.
to have a lot of the philosophy of Bruce Lee, and you know, having the part of the name of the sun, you know, it fits really well.
Thank you. Part of my mission here is that I feel like mixed martial arts is a salad bowl that is filled with. I take a part of Wing Chun, and I take a part of Muay Thai, and I take a part of wrestling, and I take a part of boxing, and it's like cutting up an apple and taking a slice of a carrot, and I want to really stew these together and get the essence out of what each of these mean. Like take away I don't want this to be dodio yak chagi. I don't want spinning back kick to be to be dodio yak chagi. I want to understand or to look at it from a Tai Chi perspective or a Wing Chun perspective. I want to look at it from what forces are being produced during this. Why are you producing the forces from this? Maybe you got these from Shaolin that's 1,500 years old, or boxing that's 150 years old, or any of the but what does it matter where it came from if you're extracting the nutrients out of it and you're mixing it together to the point where you can't tell even if the Eminari roll and the Rolling Thunder mixed together. Is it a strike? Is it a grapple? Is it a flip? Is it exactly? It's just effective.
Have you noticed that a lot of martial arts that the moves are similar, but some of them are kind of tweaked a little bit. They have different names. You know, in karate, I believe it's called a reverse punch, but it's a cross in boxing. It is different, you know. So a lot of martial arts, they just have different names, and there's just a slight tweak to them. But
where do you start generating the power? Where are you tense? When are you tense? What you're moving the body from? But the thing is,
you can use them all.
Yeah.
Different situations where you would use a
little faster,
vertical punch,
a little harder. Yeah,
vertical punch. Those can be used, especially going through the block right here. You might not be able to get a punch like that, but you get vertical fist. So
absolutely,
there's different ways that you can vary what you do, and you know, you pay attention to your opponent and see where their defenses are and where they're lacking, and you say, well, this punch will fit in there. It's like I'll look for that and I'll set it up for next time. And just like, you know, you were saying earlier with chess, you know, it's like I'll set that up, you know, a few moves ahead, and then I'll go right for it.
Absolutely. When you know how your opponent's going to respond, no matter how good you are, experience beats all things. And if you can timing and experience are those two things that really, if you can time your opponent's attack and you have experience with your opponent's attack, then your opponent's attack can at least be nullified. That you
100% agree on that.
You can likely find a counter or at least a position that gets you to a more advantageous move for a route forward from it. But that there's always a counter to whatever advantage that a person tries to bring to the board. There's always a best possible move against it.
And that's where varying your attacks can really come into play, because if you're trying to find this perfect counter and you're waiting for it to come around again, but it's like, well, they haven't done that in quite a while now. You know, I know how to counter that, but they've done 4 other things since then that could have been done at the same spot. It's really like having just your yeah, exactly. The more knowledge you have, the harder you're going to be to defeat for the most part.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why it's so important to get out here and get to challenge as many different styles and people and walks of life as you can. And I'll tell you what, if you show up out here even one time to any place, I don't care where it is, the scrapyard or anywhere, you're ahead of 1,000 people behind you that say that I would be the best if I ever stepped in the ring. I see red and it's all over. You just by showing up, you have more balls than any of them, even if it's just for one time.
Did that quit?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It just quit
oh, it's all right. We
about
got some
2
good
minutes
stuff on
ago.
there.
Yeah.
The live's still going though, right?
The live is still going.
Is there people watching?
Oh, yeah, 210.
Oh, nice.
Wow, yeah, that's great.
What ask them what they want right now?
The messages aren't coming through.
You swipe at the bottom.
They might not have been a message for a while. Yeah. GG. It's not too much. Pappasing.
Yeah.
Nothing more dangerous than a cornered Pappas. Never fight with your head down. Look at your opponent. I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, don't look at your opponent's eyes. Orange man, good.
Orange man, good.
Oh, orange man. I was like, it's maroon.
Orange man, good.
So, what do you guys want? Lucha Soul, is this today? Yes, it is, my man. Introduce yourself.
Hi, elusive Red Wolf here. Just hanging out, recording the voice.
What's your
She's-
longest range weapon?
My mouth, and my arms.
She's actually been out here for years, but she's very hard to find because she's elusive.
She's been hiding up in that tree this entire
Oh,
time.
jeez.
Yep, I've been the one with the squirrels.
Just ignore my bad jokes.
I love it.
All right. All right.
Oh, it's because it's almost dead. I think that we should get some gloves on the fiery redhead over there.
Oh, do you want me to do a round with her?
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that.
Oh, Lord.
Here,
Okay.
you can get my sweaty gloves.
Okay, I need to go take off my glasses.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Remember, don't see your opponent, sense your opponent.
Don't overthink it either.
I was really impressed with Sweetheart having chosen to take the match when, she had never fought before, so I don't think she really comprehended that a 30-pound difference is quite a difference at that weight class. Wow.
I think that, I mean, I guess I could say that it probably matters more with more experience.
Oh yeah. Honestly, you're probably way right on that. I totally could see that.
I honestly didn't. I don't think weight came into it at all. I think that it was a pretty fair matchup.
Good.
It came down. It basically came down to just like who threw more.
Yeah.
And who stayed in there. You know.
And honestly, she's been putting in the work so much this last month and a half that we kind of could see the future with how it was going to go. We had a strategy that there's a difference between cardio and fight cardio, and we could tell that she had cardio, but there's a difference between being really good at running around and really good at running around while taking punches to the face.
Or let's say my cardio is really bad right now.
Yeah.
Which it is. But by knowing how to properly breathe during, a stressful situation, I can
Lower your
prolong
heartbeat.
my cardio and my adrenaline.
Decrease the cortisol, relax the back, be able to increase the blood flow through increasing the oxygen in your blood.
Like we were talking earlier.
Yeah, that's enhancing your chi. I'll take that for you. And can I grab something out of the cooler?
I don't think there's anything.
Oh, I know where.
There's water on the porch.
Oh,
but
I'm not worried about it. Let's get some rounds in.
I do have water. It's just that was like the last one.
Oh, you're totally good, man. Well, I asked. Set that right
Okay.
there. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
So just pay attention to that for the time.
Yeah.
You can make it go. Whatever. No, go vertical.
Okay, vertical.
Yeah, that's fine. Just if you watch the timer on there. You can
Oh, okay, timer. Got you.
It's like-
Okay, I
it's
get
like
you
2
now.
minutes, or
Yep,
whatever.
yep. Set a 3-minute timer. Oh, no, but I was
Oh, you
hoping.
don't have to
Oh,
post
yeah,
it?
yeah. I
Yeah,
was
you have
hoping
to.
that I was going to be able to get one to
just count
pop
it
up.
up
Yep,
or
yep, yep,
whatever it
yep. It's a minute 24 or 1 hour 24 seconds in.
Okay.
So ready, go. 30. Elusive Red versus Firechicken. 2 fire types right here. We're 37 seconds in. Got 377 people watching. Hey, make sure to smash that like.
Hit the subscribe button.
That's gonna be one of my new catchphrases during my fights.
Leave a comment.
Did you like the make sure to support our channel as he's tapping? Flying through the air. Make sure to subscribe. Lands the Kyokushin wheel kick.
I know you're just like swatting at me, but you're good. Felt that right across the nose. Good shit.
When you give her the heat, she starts actually getting feisty.
I'm already gassed though.
Come on. I'm making you work.
Breathe through the nose. If you can hear yourself breathing like that, you need to get to a defensive position. Because if your opponent's not breathing like that, then you're going to gas first. Focus on breath. Where are those steel chains?
Good.
Flank toward me. Flank toward me. There you go. Now what? Run him to a corner. Head.
I'm gassed.
Okay. Now while he's gas, give me those.
Okay.
Let me get my mouthpiece on.
Alright.
Go.
Yeah.
Breathing. Going. That's my. Hear me breathing heavy.
Now, where he believes in raps, I don't believe in raps because I believe that if you can't manage to punch without gloves something solid with proper structure that won't crush your own hand, then you aren't learning anything that's practical.
I believe him. I know what he means, but I'm old.
No, I'm about protecting yourself at all costs, especially when you're in this for sport.
All right. Good.
Good.
so used to being able to turn my back and have my back kick ready. Nice cut there.
"30 seconds."
Miyamoto's first principle is hit without being hit. Nice. Like that.
Ooh, nice one, Firechicken. All right, time. Time.
Nice, man. That'll be
Good
great.
shit, guys. That was nice. I like the one hand behind the back. Bap, bap, bap. This is no. That was awesome.
Whew. Back to what we were saying about you only have one weapon. When he took a weapon away, a defense, I wanted to match him because what if I didn't have it? I wanted to see if timing going to be able to make up for it.
And in chess, we learn a principle: why do with one, two things what can be done with one? Meaning that as many moves as you make, you want to have one move do two things. For example, when I'm stepping in, I'm carrying my momentum, ready to be able to attack toward the flank with a cross, attack with a jab through the center, attack where I stop and I throw a hook from where I'm at. And so you want to get to universal positions where the same trigger, the same movement, looks like it could be a hook, looks like it could be a jab, looks like it could be an uppercut. But it's all from that same trigger position, meaning that the same move beforehand sets you up for multiple attacks. You want one hand to be able to do to cover as many different tactical movements as you can out of anything. Like, for example, if one hand can handle two hands, then you're open with a free hand. So the more that you can become proficient with just using part of what you have, the more resourceful you'll be capable of being with the whole body.
Problem is, if you were to just get your arm cut off,
Yeah.
that you are completely, if I have two hands,
Yes.
the problem is all I have to do is be over here
Yeah.
and then be there. Because you don't have defense over here.
Right.
So
right.
you give up your defense by only having one, and see you're blocking there.
Yeah.
And you know what that leaves open? It leaves.
Yeah.
But if,
Right.
if you just block that, you're not going to have time.
No.
Not if it's like a quick 1-2.
Yeah. No. You're basically, your goal is to stay behind your tree as much as possible. So
I think it's good. I think it's good to learn how to attack and defend with one hand, but at the same time, you got to realize if you have the two, and the person's coming at you with one, you do have an advantage.
Absolutely.
It's two versus one.
So Miyamoto Musashi teaches two big principles here. The first principle that we're relying on is one hit to one kill. That you should never expect that the hit that you provide is going to be the knockout blow, but you should be capable of getting in, striking once, and getting out, and having that strike be an effective cut or an effective blade hit. The other thing about like bare knuckle boxing, or that I was talking with a gentleman here who, what was his name? Do you happen to remember? There was a bare knuckle
DJ or
Oh.
JD?
JD.
JD.
Yeah, I was talking
JD
with
Barnes
JD.
or Barnes.
And he was telling me that there's a saying in bare knuckle boxing that a 22's bullet and a higher caliber bullet do the same thing when shot in the face. That a jab here or a jab, with everything you got is.
JD's an expert on, well, not just bare knuckle. I mean, he's been boxing, he's done jiu-jitsu. I've trained with him for over 10 years on and off. And the guy's a wealth of knowledge. Great. It was his birthday Saturday. I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
but he's right though, and everything that I've seen from bare knuckle, it's like you're not trying to land that knockout hit generally. You know, your hands
They're
are more
sharp and
fragile.
they're hard.
They're hard and they're sharp. Yeah, there's more external damages in bare knuckle than there
Yeah.
is in boxing. You know,
Less
but
brain injuries.
less brain injuries, less internal damage, more external damage. So,
Yeah, get a couple of stitches, save your brain. Or here, I mean, not here, but, you know, with boxing, you're more likely to, you need to be aware of when you've taken damage in boxing because you're less likely to go down off the first couple of hits. That it's the after your brain's ringing, after you're starting to feel the melt if you get hit.
and that's why
some serious
our referees tend to stop things
Early.
and it does make some of the fighters mad. But you know
hey,
what?
better safe than sorry. It's not for money. It's not for your card. Get over it. It was a hard sparring loss in front of a bunch of people.
I'm a big advocate on you know, living to fight another day.
Yeah.
So this out here, you know, this is going to get you some experience and everything. Maybe that I'm also a big advocate on not taking as much damage as possible. So
Yeah.
I have a more defensive style. And with that said, you know, I try to tend to deflect a lot of shots. I don't like to do a lot of blocking. I like to do a lot of slipping and rolling and just slight head movement. And if you don't get any contact, you're not taking any damage. But everybody's different. You know, some people like to give one to take one to give one. You know, then that can be good too because you can land that big knockout shot by just taking a slightly less effective shot.
Yeah. So my belief system in combat is to try and win as though you're going to have 1,000 fights lined up right after such. Having the cardio to be able to continue, but it's about being able to strike when I stand here, I have a bubble around me. This is my like strong bubble right here where it's like where I can swing and still get a good hit. But mine is a bit extended because I have these lunge techniques that let me get just a little closer than people are expecting.
You catch people off guard. You do.
And it's from that lunge technique and from trying to hide as many of the triggers. A lot of people, when they go to throw the punch, they have to be in a certain spot. They have to be sitting a certain way, and they have to have they have to holster their kick or their holster their punch. And at the end of the day, 22 does the same. You know, no one wants to be punched in the face no matter how hard. You know, and at the end of the day,
it's a point in boxing too. So I mean, you know, you win on points. More shots.
Excuse me.
The Mayweather style, you know, just hit and run, stick and jab. But the float through my goal is to be smoked, to appear only when I want to strike, and then appear back into that miss, and be aware of.
This is a modern day ninja in a dress shirt.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to get some more work in though.
Yeah, I want to get at least one more in.
All right.
So in Miyamoto's Go Rin No Show, it's discussed that one blade can overmount two blades. And the way that this is done is by having the truest strike.
3.
I think two's better than one, personally.
Oh yeah, no, usually, absolutely. It's not. I'm not saying that one becomes more effective than two. It's about how you use things.
Yeah. You can make the one more effective than
When
it normally is.
If I'm standing like this versus like this versus like this,
Right.
I've traded range onto each side.
Yep.
So what do I trade? What do I gain by losing an arm? Martial arts is all about if you lost your leg today and you had to learn to adapt and overcome, how can you create a style that fits the way that your body moves, that will allow you to still survive and do what you overcome your obstacles?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Box.
I love that. What do you call that jab?
I made it up.
It's like a fluid whip. Nice. That was the best hit you got all day.
Thirty seconds.
Nice.
Good uppercut. Right, time. Good stuff, guys. That uppercut, Firechicken. And I like that jab too. Like a machine gun.
Respect and honor.
474 viewers.
Woo! It's all fun out here. Oh yeah.
Two couple of legends.
You ain't subscribed. What are you doing? For real.
Missing out on all the fun. Your name could be up on this wall one day.
Yep.
Or sit back in the comments.
Or sit back in the comments. Who do you think is going to get Fighter of the Year? Any
We just had
contestants?
crazy legs.
Could be lights out. It could be him.
Oh,
Guess it's about who wants it, who puts in the work.
Yeah.
to that.
The year's still really fresh.
7 months in, yeah. 7.5. We're nearly into August.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Mind blowing. We do Fighter of the Year in
December.
December. Okay, yeah.
Woo. Time is it? I wonder.
Great question.
It is 6:15.
Amazing.
Time to me today has been really deceptive. Like I think it's because of the overcast and stuff. It felt a lot later. And when the overcast went away, it felt kind of feels. Yeah, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it.
So, my to answer your earlier question, my first statement is to find a good book, set of books like Go Rin No Show, The 48 Laws of Power, The 33 Strategies of War, Mastery, any book, The Laws of Human Nature. You have to understand strategy and psychology. Those are the first two big things, because at the end of the day, no matter how good you are, if you're readable, if you're predictable, if people can step in and know what you're going to do, they'll be able to create a counter tactic against you. That's what Miyamoto Musashi proved against the best tacticians of the Edo period. That's what Solo did against the Flaming Sword. When he knew that I was prepping him for Solo's head kick, he prepped my sprint style, and you'll see it on the fights. I don't want to spoil anything, but Solo versus the Flaming Sword was an interesting battle. And
it was, and I've also got to give it to Solo. He's one of those individuals that when you watch his first fights, even with you, Pappas,
Yeah.
when you watch their first fights versus their fights now, so contrast.
truly,
I mean, just a complete 180 on. He's still got his core style there, which I
Yeah.
love. He still fights like Solo.
he's just
But
become
he's just more efficient with it.
yeah,
And that's
Excuse
awesome.
me.
That's entertaining.
truly.
watching. So that's the big thing that I believe will become the next era of combat. Will become people developing styles that are very based out of their own body and their own way of existence, and they're that taking from all these different martial arts the tools that that are most in tune with the way that they want to internally move, and that the more that we can access flow, which flow state, there are 21 triggers to flow state, and that flow state shuts down the prefrontal cortex, the front part of the brain that is the decision making part, and it diverts that energy toward creativity and in the now, in the moment at response.
I think that's why a lot of people, when they do martial arts, I'll say jiu-jitsu, for instance, they turn music on because it helps with the flow. It helps kind of, you're just more reactive. You're just going with it rather than like trying to overthink and like, I'm going to go for this move. It's not working. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to try to force it. It's not there.
It's such a safer space, and it lets people keep their cortisol down, where it's not as much, I'm going to get punched in the face if I don't do this right. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to go to sleep for a second. You know, that comparatively, you know, MMA is a scary place for a lot of people that are worried about, you know, getting hit. And that in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I totally feel that, you know, that I feel like even in MMA, like you get the flow, you get a lot of that flow going with the music, but I feel like especially I see a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu matches that just really get into flow state easy. That but during flow state, like you were talking about just a minute ago, time dilates, and either time takes
for sure.
forever or no time at all.
That's why with when you're in a flow, you can spar, you can grapple sometimes for 10, 15 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And it's not really wearing on you because you're just so calm.
Yeah.
And you're not overthinking and you're just going with it.
So another big part of the 4 principles or the 4 tools that I would most bring to a fight is with psychology. You have a branch of psychology called neuro-linguistic programming, which is all about triggers, anchors, and primes. That, like, for example, if I go to throw a punch, I am priming myself by being aware of where am I going to hit the target, how am I going to hit the target. I'm visualizing through hitting that target. And then there's that trigger moment where you recognize that, oh, they've done something that's opened up that guard where you're going to be able to make contact with their chin or whatever it is been catching your eye. And then you have your own personal trigger that let's say it's through your shoulder. A lot of people, their elbow comes out too much, and you'll see their elbow before you see the punch go forward. Well, as soon as you see that, you've been awakened to what they're about to do. You see their elbow moving like that, you know that you're about to get punched at, you know, that their arm's about to move. And so being able to read triggers and being able to use triggers, anchors, and primes of understanding that, okay, well, after they've thrown that, okay, I'm going to do a head duck. I'm going to bob out of the way and slip inward. And that as soon as you can read that and go, okay, I'm gonna anchor this information that I know that when I throw this, that it triggers this response, that I can now set up a tactical response based on their movements. And that the difference between top Olympic athletes and any novice is when any Olympic athlete is asked, are you nervous? They will say, no, I'm excited. And the reason is because they've trained their brain to trigger excitement over nervousness. It's produced in the same part of the brain. But when it's the story that we have going in our head about what we see, what we are worried about, what we are not worried about, like if you're walking into the match and you have no concern because you've seen everything that the opponent has to offer and you know that you are stronger and faster and more experienced than them, you're going to be nothing but excited. And that you can train that. Back in the day when you were in a village hunting and gathering, you were at a bush move. You weren't sure if you were food or if you found food. So your brain would activate the same part of the brain that causes nervousness and excitement. But it's those who train the story that we tell ourselves
to be excited that are able to get past the nervousness and have a breakthrough, not a breakdown. And so really training yourself to not be in here going, oh, it hurts so bad. Why am I in here? Everyone's laughing at me. What am I doing? And just being like, wow, I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful that I get this opportunity to move in here and to be part of this and to experience where I'm lacking. And I ask the universe every day to send someone in here to show me that I don't know what I'm doing, to show me all the ways that I need to improve, to prove to me that my way is flawed, to prove to me that I need to put my nose to the grindstone even harder, you know, and that they'll do it in a safe manner that lets me do it, that show back up tomorrow and do it again. And so I believe that the most important thing is to win off the battlefield before you ever step in by conquering your mindset. I believe that it's most important to understand how to be able to create an effective strategy. I think it's most important to be able to think fluidly and quickly while under stress and under tension. That in chess, they say that he who controls the tension controls the game. That the more experienced player will give the other opponent enough rope to hang themselves with, and then walk them to the position where they will jump off the cliff with the rope around their neck. So all of this, whether it's chess, business, or martial arts, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So learning to show up with the same consistency and discipline that is required to build a world-class mindset and a world-class ability of reading people is more important than anything you'll learn as far as any given tactic like a rear naked choke or a punch because there will always be some tool in front of you. You don't lack resources, you lack resourcefulness.
You could learn everything in the world, but if you don't know how to use it,
yeah, you're drowning in knowledge, but you're starving for wisdom. And that wisdom is grand strategy.
And really, when it comes to like elite like grapplers and fighters and stuff, that's what it really does come down to a lot is how they use what they've learned. Not so much that one knows more than the other.
No.
Because one could know far less than the other one, but if they're just more effective with how they use what they know, come out on top.
It could come down to just, I know this one thing a little better than you, and you don't have anything to be able to counter it. Josh Waitskin, he wrote The Art of Learning. He's a world champion in Tai Chi, push hands, and in chess. And he wrote The Art of Learning, and it's an incredible book. I highly recommend checking it out. Another place to be able to pick up tons of gems, because everyone here is an ethereal mountain climber. We are all climbing these mountains of knowledge and wisdom, collecting gems that allow us to take different perspectives on life and from not just the field that we're in, but all fields around us, and that we carry these tools that we gather from each field. Like through martial arts, we gather discipline and awareness and the ability to not, like in a chess match, I can tune out for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, especially in like a classic match where I have 90 minutes. I could take a nap for 10 minutes if I really wanted to. Good luck doing that in the ring. You know, if you don't pay attention for 2 seconds,
you will be taking a nap for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So but there are a few places in the ethereal or material world where you're forced to really have all your attention driven to the now in a safe way, and this is one of them. You know, and that there are tools here and gems here that are going to be very hard to find anywhere else, and that on the journey of sharpening the mental and the physical, there's a intersection of these two planes that create a mountain ridge, and that ridge are a set of principles and strategies that align with both the way that your mind and your body want to approach the world. And the closer you are to that golden ridge, the more effective you're going to be at bringing the best you have to offer to this world. So that's why we climb the mountains and of the mental and physical, and why we continue to sharpen our blade, because the intersection of these two
worlds are the blade in which we get to cut through any obstacle that we encounter.
Very good analogies.
Thank you.
All right, we're kind of getting down to the end. Is there anybody you want out or anything you want to say last minute to the YouTube watchers?
So I'll give you guys a little sneak peek into what's going on. We've been saving up. We've been we have our credit in order. We have I'm working with the natives that let me get some better deals on getting into a bigger space. There's 28 acres up in Port Angeles, up Deer Park Road, which is 6 miles up a mountain, and it's heavily forested. That I'm looking to get and rent out a section of it to be able to pay for and fund moving a group of fighters out to, and we'll be training. It won't be any sort of luxury living at first, but we'll be basically tenting and building cabins and stuff, because I have a lot of land rights, 800 square miles of territory that we can gather from and be able to use wood and things to be able to do like cabin stuff and be able to, pursue a world of leadership. I believe that we are moving into an era of heroes where everyone will have the ability to really capitalize on what makes them unique and bring that to the world in a way that adds value. You have a modern day hero right here who has managed to save tons of lives, and by creating a space that that all of us fighters can come and be able to get out everything that we are going through and be able to meet a support system that when one of us is hurting, we're all hurting, and that we reach out and we're there for each other. I see it all the time online with our boys, and he brought his passion to the world by saying, hey, I have the space to be able to monopolize on connecting with and a connection with the OG Yard and Scarface, and being able to say, hey, I really want to bring this to this corner of the United States. Can I expand on your mission? And that by doing such, he's been able to add value to the world, profit from it, and be able to help everyone involved, whether it's the fans or the fighters or the community. And to me, that's what I want to help everyone do, is find their passion and be able to capitalize on being able to bring it to a world of adding value and being a leader that shows up with honor and integrity, and be able to continue to help lead, pave the path for future generations to be able to do the same thing. And that I believe that the leaders of tomorrow should be physically capable, mentally capable, and capable of walking a righteous path. And that if you're interested in that, please reach out, because we will be eating, breathing, and sleeping, training. We will find ways to be able to produce income while we're there. Hopefully a lot of it, the basics will be able to be covered from the property, but because there's a massive housing crisis up in Port Angeles, and this will help with that. There's a lot of ways that we'll be able to put in micro homes that are going to be rented out, that are shipping containers remodeled. But yeah, that's basically our current plan, and the Pack of Heroes is looking to expand, and you could be one of them. So come on out, join the Scrapyard, join the Pack of Heroes, and let's make tomorrow better and get stronger with the boys.
Shout out to all of you watching. Shout out to Scarface, for putting us on and letting us be a branch of Streetbeefs.
Truly.
We're creeping up on 1 million. It's kind of surreal. Ooh. I know. I never thought. I put goals into a book when I first started this, like someday, and I never truly thought that within like 4 years, in that time period, it would be there.
4 short years.
Wow. So.
A kid's high school journey. In that time, you've gone from this being a dream to a reality.
Right.
That's incredible. To not just reality, but like one of the top branches. We are the second largest branch, right? Currently?
Yeah, we are.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. And how many does the OG yard have? Do we know?
I don't know how many. I don't follow their
That makes sense.
number every day. You know.
Yeah.
I know they got 3-something million.
Oh wow. So
And
still,
so they're growing.
massive too.
They are, yeah.
Hey, if you aren't subscribed to them, you should definitely be, because you're missing out on some of the greatest fights we got from all our yards. You know, like that. And I can't wait to take the pack of heroes around for our tour to all the other yards, and any of the Scrapyard boys who want to join us. We'll be planning that over the next year. So hit us up and we'll plan a time that works for everyone.
Alrighty, Pappas, it was awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. Elusive Red Wolf, thank you so much. Until next time.
Until next time.
I'll kill the
I'm hearing the guys talking about wanting this barbecue here soon. I'd be down to help supply some of the supplies if you want to have the yard be